So I get a lot of questions about collard greens. I'm showing this current bed. It is overcrowded, and I get a lot of comments about my gardening methods. They are possibly the most terrible gardening methods. And people say, oh, you shouldn't put them this many inches apart, and you should grow them like this, and they should be in this type of light, and on and on. So let me show you my bed. This is actually a 4 by 4 by 4 bed. It's because at the time, this is what I can afford, because this is all the wood I could afford at the time. And this is the location I had at the time. This gets east facing sun. This is actually the home that I live in. The grass is not cut at this time. But so this is all the bed I could afford at that time. I had to buy these beds. I bought uh, enough wood to do 3 at a time. So I had it cut so I can make 3 beds. Um, I think I could have made 4, but I doubled this one and made it a little higher so I could put more soil. Because this one I wanted a little bit higher soil so I would be able to plant in this one first. Um, Let me explain. I wanted to plant in this one first, so I used only soil in this one, and then these I made to go in the ground. And so I'll make a different video to explain. That one's for sweet potatoes, so I wanted that one to be able to go in the ground, and I wanted this to be only soil. Most of my veggies only need about between 4 to 6, maybe possibly the max 8 inches, because most veggies, their roots go like side to side. Like that's what collard greens go in the soil, and then the roots kind of go to the side. So they don't really go deep, deep, deep. But then when you have things like carrots and tubers, and then when you have things like beets and potatoes and things that go down into the ground, you need more soil. So I wanted to have some beds that can go into the actual soil, into the ground. And then this bed, I wanted to kind of have enough soil that I controlled. So I wanted to put what I wanted to put in this one. So then I made the sides a little high. So even though I had enough wood for 4 beds, I made this one a little taller. And as you can see, that wood is shorter. So anyway, I did what I could afford. So everything is like on a budget. And then I like found this piece of wood over there and that, whatever. So one day I'll get into all the budget concerns, but that's what. So when you see me growing things and my methods, for those people who may want to comment and go, you shouldn't have done it like that, whatever, I probably shouldn't have. But this is what works for me. And what's great about it is that you now know that something unorthodox like what I'm doing, hey, it worked. So this is the only way to find out, is if you go against the grain sometimes. So my home method, any of my channels you've ever watched, any of my YouTubes, the way I do, even things like hair, which is how I've always supported myself. Anything I do, sometimes I'm like, you know what? They say you should do this, but what if I did this? And then I'll try things. So as you're watching any video you ever watch me make on YouTube, you might see something, go, I don't think you're supposed to do that. I might do something like that. And you might think, that girl is weird. And I am. And so, yeah, it's probably going to be the absolute wrong way to do it. But hey, it works for me. As you can see, this is my one of my collard beds. I also have collards in a row here, and I have other rows on other places, but this is my row where I try to invite people and educate people on what I'm doing. So I have an urban space. I'm trying to not show people's houses because people get weirded out by that. But there's the sidewalk and there's the street. So people walk by here all the time. People drive by here all the time. So these are right by the front yard so that people walk by and ask me questions. What are those? Why do you have onions in there? Is that collard greens too? Why does that look like that? Why is that coming over here? What's that doing? This is to invite people to then ask me questions, and then maybe they'll come in the backyard. If there's a chicken walking around up here, they're like, is that a real chicken? And then people start to ask. Thus, this is an educational garden. This is an educational yard. So if people are not purposely here, like that came here on invitation or booked a time to come spend time here, they might just be walking by and go, whoa, what the heck is that? And it invites people. So sometimes these beds that I tape in are not truly everything that I do, but these are the teaching gardens. So if you like, she just keeps showing the same bed. That's why, because this is what I used to teach. So I'm answering these questions. You guys don't understand that I get comments or emails about this. So in some ways I'm answering these emails. All right. So I just wanted to answer a couple of questions for a couple of people real quick on a short video. So that was a little 5-minute video just to answer a few questions. And I think that was the couple of questions, like, why is that bed so crowded? And why do you only have 3 beds? And you make it look like you have so much going on, but you don't. These are just the front beds. And sometimes it looks messy because it is messy, because these are just show beds. These are just teaching beds. And the real show is kind of in the back of the house. And that's why it looks like this. And you guys, if you have questions, and you can email fiddlyfifi@gmail.com. You guys don't make a lot of comments on YouTube, but people do email me, or sometimes people text me. The text number is 786-461-9988. I don't mind you guys texting that number, because I do have a private number that you guys can't text, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, you guys can ask whatever questions you want if you don't like to make comments on here. But that's why things look that way. That was the third question. How come you don't have bugs on your leaves? Companion planting. Look up the companion planting videos. I haven't made one yet about the onions. I've made one about marigolds, but onions is the same companion planting. Companion planting is when you plant 2 plants together that create a symbiotic relationship. Symbiosis. You can look that up, symbiosis. I'll try to type it in here. But a symbiotic relationship is where 2 different species will help each other. All right. So sort of like the bee and the flower. So these 2 have a relationship. These are green onions here. You guys know what those are. So these green onions smell weird. And I did put an onion that I used in my soup the other night, and I just sat it there. So to a bug that loves to eat my collard greens, those onions smell disgusting. I don't want to be over there. I don't like it here. So they don't like that smell. So I have green onions sprinkled all throughout here. And because that smells disgusting, there are green onions behind there. There's green onions all throughout here, throughout the bed. Well, this over here is some ginger, excuse me. But there are green onions like all throughout here. And because to those types of bugs that love to eat collard greens, green onions smell absolutely disgusting. So those bugs will not come over here because it smells gross. And so they'll never come in this bed. So these green onions, I generally don't eat them, but some people do. But they grow really big and stinky. Occasionally I will cut them back so they'll smell worse. But they don't come over here, and they don't like it over here. So they don't come over here. The birds don't come over here. You know, it's oniony and garlicky. I do have a couple of cloves of garlic somewhere in here. I don't remember where they are. But early on, I'll plant that garlic, onions, and stinky stuff over here, and the occasional marigold over here. So because I have those stinky things over here, those guys don't come. And because they don't come over here, they don't eat my collard greens. So the collard greens are benefiting from having those onions over here, right? So, well, how does the onion benefit from that? Well, because these guys get so big and shade out, you know, the harmful rays of the sun, some of these other crops that would get burned from the sun get the benefit of that shade once the collard greens get nice and big. All right, so this is the symbiosis. They get to share this space and help each other out. So that's what companion planting does. I don't use any pesticides. I don't spray my collard greens ever, ever, ever. So me personally, just so you know, I will, if I want collard greens, I walk right out here, I get my collard greens if I'm cooking for me. If I'm cooking for somebody else, I do the baking soda and the vinegar. But if I'm cooking for me and I want some lemongrass, not with the collard greens so much and not with the different veggies, but with lemongrass. If I need lemongrass in my soup, I walk right out here, I get a piece of lemongrass, I throw it in my soup. I don't even worry about rinsing and stuff. When I'm cooking things like collard greens, you guys see me on videos. I do the soaks. I do the baking soda and white vinegar soaks, and I chiffonade them, and I go through the whole thing because that's just how I grew up. So it's almost like I can't cook them if I don't do that. It's just a weird thing. But if I want to use a herb, I just go cut the herb and I just take it in the house because I know there's no bugs on it. But that's because I'm standing here every single day, and I can put you like right here, like we can go all the way, and you don't see one thing crawling, an ant, nothing. So because I'm here every day, and the number one skill in gardening, you don't need a bachelor's degree, you don't need anything, you need observation. So I come out here every single day and people think I'm crazy, but I'm here. Like, what is that? What is that? What is that thing on my thing? So because I'm observing, I know that there's nothing here and that I feel comfortable that I can eat right from my garden. But that you would have to be here every single day, every moment. And I know that right now over there, look, that thing, that potato vine is hanging. See right there? And I need to go put it on the trellis, right? So I'm super ADD like that I need to go put that vine on the trellis. So I pay attention to everything in the garden. If you're not like that, then it's different for you. But because I know, and I see that there's a bite mark right there. So, I know I pay attention to every single thing. Every single day I wake up 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning and come out here and like, what is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? So it's a little different. We're up to 12-minute videos. I don't like to do very long videos, but so I just wanted to answer those questions that I get on emails or that I get on text messages and whatever about the garden. I think those were the only ones. But yeah, so anyway, those were questions answered. Thank you guys so much for watching. I see the numbers increasing. No, I'm not at 10 million. No, I'm not at